Alright, this is Brian Hegney, instructor of Game and Interactive Media Design. We just started modeling a wingnut, and I'm just going to finish it for you now to show you what that chamfer can do and why I would use that instead of, say, Turbo Smooth. Let me just get rid of this. I'm going to select this polygon, but I'm going to get out. There we go. I'm going to just add another polygon, or edit poly, because I like to do that. Now, in this case, chamfer can be a little weird, and that's why I wanted to take a second video to talk about it, because these two chamfers that we did here was pretty easy. In that one, let's see, in that one chamfer we did, we did each one individually. We did this inner one and this outer one individually. Well, sometimes the edges you want to chamfer are all connected. So for this next one, like I want to chamfer this edge around here to make this curve a little bit nice, but I also want to chamfer this edge at the same time. And I also want to chamfer this that goes around here. So I'm going to do that. But I'm going to have to pick all of them at once. And so it might be a kind of long task. And so I'm not going to make you sit through this with me. And I'm going to pause the video and then show you all of the edges that I have selected when I'm done. Okay, and when you're ready, you're going to want to kind of just make sure that you've only selected these edges around. Oops, and look at that. I see two right here. I'm going to hold down Alt, click, and you might notice I have my move tool turned on, and if you do, you can see because I have that little, my cursor turns into that plus sign. If you accidentally left click and move, oh my goodness, did you see what just happened? Make sure, and I do this all the time, make sure you're set to, or actually do it wrongly all the time, make sure you have it set to select object instead of one of the transformations, move, rotate, or scale. Okay, Alt click that, good. That should be everything. And now I'm going to go, oh, no, there's another one. Click that. There we go. And you'll kind of see why we do this. Now, I'm not going to select this right here because this curve, let's turn that off. This is already a nice curve. What I'm trying to do is make the corners beveled. You'll remember in turbo smoothing what that does. It's going to make that just look so much better. So here's another one where it goes from the bottom to this part of the wing. I don't need to bevel that. Okay, so let's go ahead and click the bevel tool. Or chamfer, I'm sorry, I said bevel. I meant chamfer. There. And when we chamfer that, let me turn on my edges there. You can see that I can make this, moving the centimeters here, that's almost like when we would make a really, when we used Turbo Smooth combined with edge loops. Remember, placing edge loops far away from a corner would make something really, smooth, right? And so that's what we're kind of doing here. The bigger this number, the more smooth it's going to be. Let's just set this back to 1. And if you add more than one chamfer here, so let's say I set that to 3, this is where things are going to get a little bit weird. So if I kept that to quad, now you're going to notice that, oh, it's trying to keep quads, isn't it? There's still kind of an annoyance here. Maybe I should have checked these, because now that I'm thinking about it, this is going to be an n-gon right now. I do not want n-gons in my model, so I'm going to click X and not do that. And I'm going to go ahead and add these just so that I don't have any n-gons. Those n-gons are bad. bad N-gons. This is one of the reasons I usually like Turbo Smooth, because that keeps my quads nice regardless. Okay, now that I've got those there, I'm going to use Chamfer. That looks a little bit nicer. Now these are quads. Yay, yay, yay. But I don't want 3, maybe 2. And if I set that to quad chamfer, that's going to, that's kind of ugly. But let's go ahead and I'm going to pause this while I decide what I want. And I'm just going to choose one segment, actually. I'm not going to get too complicated because you'll see why in a moment. Okay, so I'm going to set it to like that. And you'll see, yes, I did make a copy because I'm going to check something out in a little bit. Okay, and now I'm going to just check the checkbox. I'm going to come into another edit poly. And in this last edit poly, I'm going to select all of these polygons in polygon mode. I'm going to clear all of the smoothing groups and set them all on the same smoothing group, to be honest. And there we have that. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and isolate this selection. And so, you know, you can, this is what it used to look like when we'd add Turbo Smooth. You see this little corner here. You can see that because of that chamfer, it actually does curve down a little bit, especially in here. And these edges are actually being smoothed by the renderer. This actually is a little bit faceted. Just to show you what the difference is between those, I'm going to make a copy of this. And I'm going to select all of the polygons here and just clear all of the things. Okay. And so this is the difference between like why we can get away with smoothing using this chamfer, is that these are pretty faceted. These aren't really, we don't need to turbo smooth it, because in this part of the model, just chamfering that corner and putting them all in the same smoothing group is going to be good enough. Now you might sit through this and think, okay, you know what, Hegney, that I'm going to delete this. Maybe you do want this to be a little bit more smoother. So I'm going to go back and kind of do that, and I'll pause the video and show you what it looks like afterwards. Okay, so I thought long and hard about it. Now, I am totally okay with, oh, by the way, this is just a wing nut I was practicing with earlier. It's pretty much the same thing. I'm going to get rid of it now. Once again, yeah, always model things many different times in order to really learn it and love it. So there's something I don't love about this wing nut, and this is the number of sides that this wing has. I don't think that's curved enough. If you really look at the other wing nuts, like, look how nice and beautiful these are. Well, for that curvature, yeah, I'm going to need more polygons. And so, but to have that many polygons, it would have been 1, 2, 3, 4. It would have been more than 4. Maybe I would have had 8 sides here. But look, I didn't need 8 sides here, so I didn't want to get too overboard. The other thing you might be thinking, well, Hegney, you were already saying you can beef up the number of polygons, don't worry about it. One little caveat, though, is if you have too many polygons, it gets to be a beast to work with. You want to actually work with as few polygons as possible because it's easier to model something with fewer polygons. So I'm going to show one last thing with this wing nut. And that is going to be chamfer once again. Yes, I'm going to use another edit poly modifier, I'm going to use the edge selection mode. I don't know why I added this, so I actually am going to delete it by holding down Control backspace. You didn't see me edit this. Why aren't you working? Control backspace. There we go. And I did that because you didn't see me add that. It's something I think I did a while ago. But in this edit poly, what I'm going to be doing is chamfering these edges. So I'm going to select all of these, go into my wireframe mode, hold down Control so that I can select multiple of those edges right there. And so you can see I've selected all of those. Hold down F3 so that I can see my my edged faces in lit mode, and now I'm going to use chamfer again, and you can see how pretty that makes it. Yeah, man. Do I dare do two? No, I don't. Because I want to keep these as triangles, that's fine. If I were to do something dumb like that, no, I don't want that either. Standard chamfer is good enough for me, and I'm going to say, yes, that's good. Now, I do have a problem. Even though that now looks much better, or at least it will. Oops, why does that look bad now? It looks bad because guess what? These are not on the same smoothing group. There we go. Ew. Oh, darn. Yes. Why does that look bad there? You see that shading? My guess is that's from N-gons. Because look at this shape we have right now. I'm going to add another edit poly. Because I love doing that to make my life easier in the long run. This polygon right here, how many sides does it have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 sides. We don't want that, so what I'm actually going to do is use my cutting tool, and I'm going to cut from here to here. I'm just going to make sure I have no N-gons. This is also an N-gon. Also 6 sides. I'm going to cut here. I'm going to cut there. And now I'm going to cut here. And so now I've turned all of my N-gons into quads. This is 4 sides, that's 4 sides. This is 4 sides, this is 4 sides. And my bet is that when I let go and turn off my wireframes, yes, that is so much better. So like, let's take a look at that again. What did I do? You see that weird shading? That's because lighting engines don't like N-gons, nor do game engines because of that. So that's all. That's all I did. Cutting those back into quads. Oh! You know what I didn't do? I didn't do it on the other side. And of course, after I make this cut, or these cuts, the last thing I'm going to do is, because I don't want to repeat my work on the other side, of course, I'm going to add symmetry and wait till I symmetry this work over to that side. So that's the Y, yep. The Y, and that's perfect. If you need to flip it, sometimes you might need to flip it because it won't be actually putting the right one on the right side. There we go. And that is my wing nut. I think that looks beautiful. And one last thing I need to do, I just realized, oh my gosh, because guess what? This is an N-gon in here. So of course I'm going to go into edit poly mode. I'm going to go into selection mode. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to delete these two. You know this from the wine glass tutorials. I'm going to cap those holes. I could work really hard like we did in the barrel to actually cut these, but I'm going to be lazy and triangulate that cap. What I might do in the future is actually extrude that hole downward to actually make the hole in the middle of these wing nuts, but you know what? For now, I'm okay with not doing that because it's going to be so far away. Oh my god, look at that. What a beautiful, beautiful wing nut. So that is chamfering with smoothing groups. Hope you had fun. Bye!